County from Chief 4.
Herb Berger is the man you'd want to respond to your house if there was an emergency.
I never wished disaster on anybody. I just wanted to be there when it happened.
And for the biggest disaster in his lifetime, Herb was there. In the process, it changed the way he'd do his job forever after.
You approach it a whole lot differently. If you don't, bad things are going to come your way.
Herb was at work as a captain with the Harrisburg Fire Department on September 11, 2001. As soon as he saw the second plane hit the second tower on a TV at the station, he knew what was going to happen next.
My guys were all looking at me saying, "What do you think?" And I remember turning around and looking at them and saying, "Our brothers in New York City are in tremendous trouble today. There are going to be a lot of firemen that die today."
Not long after he made the prediction, Herb got summoned to go to New York City that night as part of the 80-member Pennsylvania Task Force 1 search and rescue team. He left the station, went home just long enough to scribble this note to his wife and daughter. "Love you guys. See you when I get back. Dad." Then he and the task force left for New York, not having any idea the magnitude of their mission.
When it came to the World Trade Center particularly, I don't think anybody there could have been a veteran. That was the biggest building collapse anybody had seen in this nation.
At morning's light, September 12th, Herb stood on top of what the planes brought down the day before. He said the enormity of the sight swallowed him.
And all of a sudden, I got just a glimpse of what war was about. And that was extremely emotional. It was hard to deal with all that.
He remembers the noises, the jackhammers, the radio static, the sirens, and he remembers the clouds of white dust that tried to cover up the ugliness of the place.
The smell of death was everywhere.
Herb looked for firefighters who might still have been trapped. He looked for family members of strangers who ran to him with pictures. But the desperation is not what hit his heart the hardest.
You know, there were a lot of things to try to tie together. The plus side is the years of doing this, being in the emergency services, you learn to turn your emotions off. I could work all day long. Going home was hard.
And those are the moments, leaving the site to get some rest, that still get him.
At night you drove back, and the people, they lined the streets to thank you. That was hard.
Herb did not go to New York to be thanked for his service, but the New Yorkers, despite living through hell, were there every night to thank him anyway. That support carried him through the grueling work. For 7 days, Herb and his team searched for survivors, but after 7 days, they found none.
My wife will tell you through conversations on the telephone, I went from being emotional to being ambivalent to being angry. When we got angry, I think it was time for all of us to come home, and we all were getting angry.
Now, 10 years later, Herb is as dedicated a firefighter as ever, and he's now a battalion chief. But he admits the job has changed in more than the title. His mindset has changed. Even in a city like Harrisburg, a reminder from 9/11 follows him on every run he makes.
Now, you got that other element, the element of terrorism to think about, and it's something you can't ever leave your guard down to.
He's much more alert that what he's responding to might be more threatening than it appears to be. Other than that, Herb says he thinks about his time at the World Trade Center only occasionally, much less than when he first returned home.
If it makes me sad, I'm sad. You know, if it makes me angry, I'm angry. But I can deal with that. And you have to if you're going to do this type of work.
Life will never be the same for Herb, but life goes on. And he has learned, even for a firefighter, it's okay for his memories to come rushing back, to remind him what he did for his country and why he's still at it.